Hey, welcome aboard Flight 172. I'm in Grand Rapids, Minnesota today. It is Labor Day weekend. And so the roads are filled with tourists, but the air is all mine today. I have some bad news I found out this morning. One of the best pilots in the world crashed yesterday on takeoff, and it sounds like it was a engine malfunction, an engine failure. What happened? I don't know yet. Juan Brown on the Blanco Lirio channel, one of the, in my opinion, one of the best aviation channels to subscribe to on YouTube. Just kind of covered it this morning, and I watched the video before I came over here. So Sherman Smoot is the guy's name, S-M-O-O-T. He was an air racer. He flew in the unlimited class at the National Championship Air Races in Reno, Nevada every year. In 1998, I was lucky enough to attend the air races, and because of work conflicts, I could only attend on Saturday, which is that was the last day of heat races. And I happened to be there. I picked the day because, like I said, work conflicts. But as it turns out, it was probably one of the more exciting race days in Reno history. And what happened, there was, during the unlimited heat race, I don't remember which one, there were several heat races. So I don't know, there was maybe 6 to 8 airplanes that were flying at the time. It was just after the race had actually started. One airplane pulled up with an emergency. It turned out that it was, I believe it was a P-51 if I remember correctly, that lost a trim tab on the elevator. And anybody that knows about flying, you know, losing a trim tab most of the time is pretty catastrophic, at least in the high-performance airplanes like that. This pilot managed to extract his head from between his knees and regain control of the airplane. And he declared an emergency. But as this was happening, another airplane started spitting smoke as he was going around the course. At that time, I believe it was a 9-mile course. And as he's going around, it's starting to smoke. And then as he comes back around, those of us in the audience can see flames coming out from underneath the cowling of the engine. That's bad. That's really bad. And he declared an emergency. So as he's coming around, he's going to land. We've got the one emergency that's going to land on one runway, and he's going to land on another runway, and it's a shorter runway. See if I can get this thing turned around here so I can do a run-up. Anyway, so he declared an emergency. He's coming around to land, and he's high and fast. He's really going. He's really going fast. And he comes down. He's too high. He's too fast. He touches down. I don't remember exactly where on the runway, but it was pretty clear from the stands that he was not going to be able to stop. At the time, we were told that at the end of his runway was a drop-off. It was like a 75 or 100-foot drop-off into rocks. There's a whole bunch of rocks down there. And if he ran off the end of the runway, basically the airplane would nose over, hit the ground, flip over, and he would die. So this is, really bad. The crowd everybody's on their feet, and everybody's all worried about him. And so at the very end of the runway, it's clear he's not going to be able to stop, and he must have hit one of the brakes, the wheel brakes, and it caused the airplane to kind of go sideways on him. What he was trying to do is what they call a ground loop, which is where the tail of the airplane flips around and you end up going tail first. And what that does is it kills all of your momentum. At the same time, it pretty much, in a lot of cases, you're going to total the airplane doing that. You're going to ruin it. There's some airplanes you can get away with ground looping, and a lot of times with the slower airplanes, it's damage that could be repaired. But with a high-performance airplane like this, you know, the odds of him being able to save the airplane at that point were nil. On the other hand, if he didn't do that, he was going to die. That pilot was Sherman Smoot. So we watched him skid sideways. The landing gear folded up underneath the airplane, and the airplane went off the end of the runway and kind of skid to a stop before it got to the drop-off. We saw the whole thing. From where I was at, I was in the cheap seats, which was way up high in the bleachers, and I got to see the whole thing, and it was pretty exciting. Fortunately, everything was fine. That airplane ended up being rebuilt and has raced every year since, or nearly every year, as far as I know, with him in it. And so, an incredibly gifted pilot, very skillful, and unfortunately, he passed away. So, you know, when things like this happen, you have to kind of, pilots, we always kind of do a little introspection and say, you know, what can we do differently? Things like that happen. And so today, I think what I'd like to do as a pilot is rededicate myself to making sure that I kind of, you know, and I've said this before in aviation videos, I mentally prepare for takeoff. And that means that I mentally prepare for emergencies or unexpected events. I'm mentally preparing myself for this flight in his honor. And I hope that other pilots do the same thing. You know, if such an awesome pilot be caught off guard like this, we can all be, you know. So, let's go flying, but let's keep that in mind today. All right?